You are listening to a Reverie original podcast. Please download the Reverie app to get the best in queer film, TV series, music, and podcasts. Stream out loud. Hello, everyone. Welcome to Podcast of Color, where 4 trash bags of color come together to make some sense of this world. My name is John, and I'm currently sunburnt because I just came back from Hawaii, and I'd like to share some things that I've learned. Common phrases like ohana, which means no bottom gets left behind. Who are y'all?
What else did you learn? What other phrases?
We're gonna get letters from our Hawaiian listeners.
Hawaii's water is clearer than your Fleet water.
Than mine?
And everyone's Fleet water. Everyone should go check it out because it's beautiful.
He looked dead at me when he said that.
You jumped the key specifically.
Yeah, I'm looking right at you.
Dirty.
We made don't spread that rumor. We made eye contact right when he said it. So I'm Rakeem, and I'm happy to be here.
Aww.
Mm-hmm.
But the bitterness will come out soon.
A little bit. The bitter bitch will jump out.
Who are y'all?
I'm Renee.
Oh, go ahead. Sorry.
Oh no, you.
No, go ahead.
You first.
Go ahead, Renee.
Wow.
No, you.
Well, one of y'all fucking talk. Damn.
Go, Renee.
I'm I'm Renee, and I'm Azealia Banks' cat eyeglasses in her Charlemagne the interview.
Yikes.
Ooh.
I'm Babe, and
What is that?
The misogynoir jumped out.
How misogynoir? Where'd you grab that from?
Because you're making a caricature of an African black woman.
Ooh, a woman though? Where'd you get that from?
Because your voice was...
Ooh, are we gendering my voice?
No.
Problem.
No.
At
Discourse.
We're not talking about me, though.
The
So,
problematic
the question of color
jumped out. Yes, the question. What is the question of color?
So you guys want the cock? The question of color
yes, I
this
always
week
want the cock.
is
The cock.
the
Cock.
question of color this week is if
Father
Stan Twitter
God.
existed in the 90s, who would you have Stan for, and whose fandom would you clash with?
I would have been. This is Bay speaking. This is Bay speaking. This is DeMarcus. He's back.
DeMarcus? Today we have DeMarcus.
No, I think I would have been a part of the Barney stand-up, and I feel like me and the Teletubby stand-up would have like really
Thrown hands.
went to bat. Like, fuck them bitches.
Wait.
Fuck them little Oompa
Wait.
Loompa looking ass niggas.
Hold on. I got goosebumps
And fuck that
right
baby
now.
son, smiling ass son too.
She got goosebumps because I was just gonna say I was gonna stand the Teletubbies
Ooh no,
because they make that good ass oatmeal and they live in that eco-friendly house.
They don't have the range.
Okay, eco-friendly. John is Tinky Winky.
Thank you. I'm
Okay,
Tinky
but
Winky.
Barney said, clean up, everybody, clean
the Teletubbies
up.
said,
what are you talking about?
lower your
Eco-friendly.
carbon footprint.
Okay, homegirl was trying to clean up the ecosystem. Homegirl was trying to clean up the earth. Okay,
The Earth.
I was
The
like,
earth.
You don't need to watch TV. Just look at my stomach. It's right here.
Ooh. Ooh.
okay, but that's doing too much. Barney
John
wasn't trying to
wanted
do all
tubby
that.
custard.
Oh, the Teletubby custard
Ew.
This all sounds disgusting.
brings all the viewers to the yard.
Ew. They were fucking each other, huh?
It was Tinky Winky. What's the red one? They were the
Poe?
Poe, yeah.
Was Poe the bottom or the top?
And Tinky Winky had a purse. Come on.
I wasn't allowed to watch it because of that. Like, my mom was like, no. Oh, not my mom, but like certain people in my family actually were like, that one has a purse, so it's gay. So then it was just like spread around that none of the kids were allowed to watch it.
Bob the drag queen is shaking. the original purse first. Walk into the room purse first.
Oh my god, someone should make that. If someone can make a meme of Tinky Winky holding his purse.
The video,
first,
make a video, yes, of Tinky Winky
Yeah.
walking through.
Please. I was in the Destiny's Child fandom, and I kind of did get in verbal arguments with TLC fans.
Oh, no.
Wow.
The truth of the matter is TLC's harmonies they're not existent, they're not there, and it's not up for debate. So one of them has Beyonce, and the other one has...
Left Eye. She's not here no more.
Don't.
Wow.
That's not even shade. I honestly Left Eye was I think the most talented of the group. Also, didn't they said some weird shit about Black Lives Matter, didn't they? So I don't really care about them anyway.
I was gonna say, and one of them had a Kickstarter, but go off.
With a Kickstarter for what?
To fund their album.
Oh no.
That is so sad.
That's say it.
That's say it. Just say it.
If you can't fund your own album, where the hell did you go?
If Kickstarter can't fund your album, where the hell can you go?
Yikes.
Woo, Jesus.
Oh, man.
Renee?
Yeah, Renee.
Oh, I would have been
Bjork.
part of Bjork too. Well, I was kind of young
Really?
for Bjork,
Back
but
then?
Bjork too.
Yeah.
No, I was
No,
all
he
about.
was saying-
Wait, did y'all ever
Alanis
see that
Morissette.
video? Love will never do without you by Janet Jackson.
Yes.
I probably
Watch
saw a lot of
that.
this stuff. I
Watch
can't
that.
remember.
It was probably one of the first music videos I ever saw, and I just remember being like, "Oh my god, this is." As a 5-year-old, being like, "Oh my god, this is a moment," because it was so good.
That's so sweet.
So Janet's your answer?
Janet and maybe Fievel too.
I didn't know
Ooh,
you were
Five
biased.
yes.
Yeah, from
Going west?
We love an immigrant story.
Little baby immigrant. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I didn't know you were into ASMR like that. Go off. That's dope.
You know,
You're
I was gonna say that a fandom that I probably actually would have actually been in, and it's problematic now. I Believe I Could Fly was my song back in the 90s.
Yikes.
So I probably would have been in that stand-up, but probably not for R. Kelly.
Wait.
I didn't even know who that nigga was. I just liked that song. It was
Wait,
because it was on the
backtrack.
Space Jam. It was on the Space Jam soundtrack.
Space Jam.
Who would the Five O's Goes West stands clash against?
Um,
The Adventures Down, or what's that group called where they go?
I don't know who that is.
There's that seagull that from
Oh,
Australia.
yeah.
You know what I'm
A
talking about?
seagull from Australia?
the little the rescuers at
goes
Down
under.
Under.
Yes, Rescuers
I
Down
thought
Under.
that
Wait,
was
what
so
is that?
boring. I thought that movie was so boring, so I totally would have clashed that.
Me too,
I
but
never seen
other
that.
kids.
Isn't that the movie with the rats?
Yeah.
Yeah. The
No,
first
that's
one was
Goes
good.
West.
No, but but there's another
They
one
also
by
had
Disney.
rodents. Yeah.
Five Goes West is a Universal, I think, and then the other one's
Yeah.
Disney.
Oh, the original one was good too when 5 really first came to
Yes,
America. So
yes,
he first
it
comes
was
to
so
America in the first one, and then the second one he goes to the West.
I used to watch that movie and cry because it's such a good movie. Like the part when he gets lost in America by himself, he's like, "I'll never find my family." That was me. And now
I wanted to be his sister. Like when she was swinging that ponytail
darkness,
around,
my old friend.
his sister had inches.
she did when she was
Oh my
performing
God,
for in the saloon. For all the
Yeah,
cowboys.
she was like for
The
a
saloon.
rat. I was like, girl, what's your secret? You taking them collagen pills?
What's my secret?
Wait, do you guys remember Gadget? She was such a badass looking.
Go
Gadget.
Gadget Fleet Bottle. Yes.
Wow.
Gadget. That sounds familiar, but I don't know. There's a
No,
lot of stuff that I
Gadget
saw
from
when I
Chip-
was really young, and I can't remember it anymore. Like the
Gadget, yeah,
Gadget. She was the girl mouse from Chippendales.
from Chippendale.
Oh,
was
with
the
the
smart-
yes, and she had
was the
inches
smart
too.
one.
She had her her
Her
little
lace
feather
front
bangs.
was so good.
Yes, these rats was growing their hair out. They was having hair
This is
journeys. Bitch, that's a YouTube tutorial I would watch.
Oh, someone please pitch that to what's her name? Who does all the good drag looks?
Nina Bonita Brown.
Nina Bonita Brown. Yes.
Queen.
As
queen.
a rat?
As Gadget from.
Do you see
I can
this?
see
Oh,
that.
calling black people rats. Mm.
Oh my God!
Let me
no!
sip this wine.
I'm just saying, she was a poodle, and she was what other stuff? She was.
So we're
Nina-
not
she
animals.
was-
Nina,
So
Nina
we're not
was a
human.
lettuce last time I saw her. She's amazing. She's I've never seen a lettuce look so good. She was natural.
Baze, do you see how they're denying us our humanity?
What? Oh.
Now we're not even alive. Now we're just inanimate objects.
Inanimate
now
objects.
We're lettuce.
To be used.
So,
to be
that
eaten
was
and
the
consumed.
intro.
She
Our
was an
bodies,
empowered lettuce.
the black
She was an
bodies.
empowered lettuce.
Empowered lettuce.
Wow.
Okay.
Empowered VeggieTales.
Thank you for tuning in,
Oh,
everyone.
ooh, empowered
not
VeggieTales.
VeggieTales.
Oh my god,
I would
VeggieTales
clash
goes
with
west. I would watch that.
Not Veggie.
Yes.
VeggieTales. Fan.
They go to no VeggieTales go west. Hollywood.
Oh my god, love and hip hop VeggieTales.
Wow, like that brings a whole new meaning to cucumber.
I wonder how many bottoms when they were kids saw that, and the cucumber one, it was like,
No. Okay, thank you everyone for tuning in. This has been
Like no, like Ricky, like tilts head.
like, John was triggered. And on that note,
Yes, we'll be back with the minute of the Keller.
Hello, and welcome back to the minute of the Keller. No, wait. Welcome back to the minute of the Keller. The Marquis is the name.
That's my French trade accent. I don't know. What's like a French tradie name? Like Pierre?
Francois.
Francois Sagat?
Jacques.
This is Francois. Jacques.
Not
Jacques. Like J-O-K. Yes. Jacques.
Young Jock.
Young Jacques. Father God.
Young Jacques.
Anyways, let me bring up where the hell? Oh God. Where? Father God, talk amongst yourselves. Talk amongst yourselves. My internet
Tinky
just
Winky
messed up.
was that bitch.
What?
Said Tinky Winky was that bitch.
So was the cucumber from
Oh,
VeggieTales.
God.
You know what?
This is not what
I don't even look at cucumbers
This
like
is
that.
not what
Anymore?
I asked for.
Wow.
Mm-hmm.
You guys wish your water was clear as Hawaii's.
Okay, so I'm back now. Sorry, I just was confused about something. So,
Cucumber water?
so,
I'll unplug your mic.
I mean, what do we want to jump into first? You know what? Actually, I did say I was going to talk about something specific, but let's talk about Elon Musk and Grimes. People had a lot of thoughts and opinions about this because apparently Elon Musk and Grimes are dating. Elon Musk is like a billionaire tech dude who is all about like modernizing shit, and he's the owner of Tesla, right?
Correct.
Do y'all know? Okay. So, he's the owner of Tesla, and he's like a neoliberal, and, you know, a lot of people are not happy about it because, you know, apparently Grimes has expressed capitalist thoughts and opinions. I don't know. Renee, you might know more about this than I would.
Yeah, so, well, I don't know. Part of me is just like, was really jarred about the whole thing, but another part of me just thinks this whole thing is really funny. It just feels almost like, I don't know, it's just so random, and it feels like almost like a joke or a publicity thing, but then also just like, I don't know, it's kind of weird. But yeah, so, well, the thing is, and all this stuff is alleged. I don't know, you know, I'm gonna say that allegedly, a lot of this stuff, but like,
yes, cover that ass.
There's like photos of them together.
They're together. Yeah.
No. I'm talking about like the information I'm gonna talk about Elon Musk. So they're saying that like he runs his companies where they're like super high pressure. When the workers try to unionize, he fired people. And then when they asked for pay raises, he was giving them like food. He was like, well, I can't do that, but like I'll give you food or whatever. And something came out, I believe it was Mary Claire, his first wife, came out and talked about how he's actually very manipulative and emotionally abusive. And so I think a lot of people are like kind of scared about like how this is going to end for Grimes. Given that, you know, she is somebody who's in the spotlight and she has her own platform, but she does not have the power that he does, should anything like go down. So, and yeah, it's also just like, it's also this weird thing of just like, I feel like I'm like getting, every day, like I'm like less and less kind of relying on people's politics as far as what they say, as far as like the things that they're saying. And like even like, let's say like even my own, like sometimes I don't follow everything that I say, or like maybe I'm not there yet, but like I want to feel like I'm there. And like I was having this conversation with my friend, and we were like, if you really want to take a look at like somebody's politics, like really, really, like the thing that exposes them the most is their love life. And the thing with Grimes is the thing with Grimes is like, you know, she had like this anti-capitalist, anti-imperialist kind of radical thought, and then she's dating somebody who's pretty well known for some misogynist shit, you know, like classist shit, you know, just being very exploitative.
Isn't this the Grimes that like, wasn't she the one that like used to work at Urban Outfitters?
She
or like she got like discovered because Urban Outfitters like made her do a tour with them or something?
I'm sure, but and
wait, was
go ahead.
Sorry, I'm just like, if she's truly anti-capitalism,
right? And like that, and this is another thing too, is like with like I was having this discussion too, because like Bjork came out and she was like, I've never done a commercial, I've never sold my songs to like any products, blah, blah, like I did, but they also like somebody like Bjork blew up in the 90s when like all that stuff, when people were still buying music and like stuff like that wasn't actually necessary. Do you know what I'm saying? So like, and now like a lot of artists to blow up, they might have to do something that like is, you know, is seen as kind of like going against their morals or their views to kind of blow up. And that's another thing. A lot of people are just like, she's having a hard time with a record label. She needs money behind her new album. You know, she's probably calculating this. And then there's this other idea that a lot of people bring up where she's like, where they're like, she's going to radicalize him and he's going to learn to like start redistributing wealth and like trying to convince other people or shit like that or whatever. And I just think about like, okay, she was in the new Janelle Monáe song, right? And I'm just wondering if like they sat there and watched Dirty Computer together, and if she had to like break shit down for him and be like, and maybe who knows if he's gonna absorb any of this information? Do you know what I'm saying? I don't know. I don't know. It's kind of an interesting. It's kind of scary for me on one end, given his history, but then on the other end, I'm just like, dude, like, it's, you know, let it be what it is. So
would any of us?
Yeah.
But yeah, I don't know. I mean, what are y'all thoughts?
Who would?
I don't know. I mostly put this on here for you. I didn't really care. Honestly, I just was like, I thought Renee might get a kick out of talk of it.
Wait, hold on. John was saying something.
Yeah, go ahead.
Oh no, it was just a general question. Like, so like basically, she's like sort of selling out for dick.
But I don't think you know that.
Maybe.
Though. Like,
yeah, I don't
allegedly.
know.
Allegedly.
I don't think that we know that, and I think that's kind of a weird assumption to make. Like. No. Like, we don't know what their relationship is like. We don't know what they've talked about, what they haven't talked about. I honestly, again, I don't really care or have anything invested in it. But like, and again, I'm the person who, out of the four of us, didn't know who he was before this happened. So like, all I'll say is like, I don't think that her dating him necessarily invalidates her stances per se, because you can have stances independent of your partner, but I do think
right. But if your partner's exploiting,
it might be an interesting thing. But I don't. But I don't know his history like that, so I can't really say.
That was my question. Like, if an Elon Musky type approached any of us, would we?
If a billionaire? I've never said I was anti-capitalist anything. So if a billionaire approached me, bitch, that's
First
Renee.
of all, I pledge allegiance
to the flag,
to the flag of the United States of cash money.
Okay.
Money is the anthem
honestly,
of success.
Yes.
Wait, what is it? And now put on
your makeup and your party dress or something like that.
And your party dress. I'm your national.
Well,
anthem.
I will say,
handsome.
this is a discussion that I had as well. I'm not going to say too much about it, at least not on the show, but I had like, and I'm sure y'all have as well, but I've had like offers from people that I was dating that were like a lot wealthier than I was, like a lot wealthier, like pretty wealthy people. To kind of be a kept person. But given the person's morals, like this dude basically had a boyfriend, or was a white dude, had a boyfriend that was a person of color. They were having an issue, and he basically was like, hey, I'm gonna break up with this dude. Like, do you want to take his place? I'll take care of you. He was a producer. He's like, I'm gonna get you a job. Like, I know when you leave Berkeley, like, you're gonna need a job.
Telenovela.
And he's like, I'm gonna drop him soon. So if you want, like, it'll just be me and you. And I was just like,
oh, that's so gross.
Exactly. And this is the thing. And like, my friend was like, you're so stupid because you would have graduated from school by now because you wouldn't have struggled with money so much and you would have a job. But at the same time, like, I probably would be
I'm that
like,
friend.
But at the same time, I saw how he was treating his
You'd be in
partner.
a precarious position.
Right, exactly. And so I think, but as someone,
and he could take that away from you at any time.
And as someone who like, I'm like really annoying about my morals sometimes. Not always, because I go back on them, which we all do, I guess. Yeah, I mean, I've had the opportunity to be okay, like be set up basically for life and been like, actually, you're a trash person, so no. So, well, a billionaire might be a little different though. Like,
right.
But I don't know.
I'm not gonna throw stones from glass houses because, like, look, money helps, and at the end of the day, you live in a society where money is important. So, I'm not gonna sit there and, unless you're obviously like killing people to get your fucking money, like, I'm not going to.
What kind of people?
I'm
kidding. I'm kidding. I'm totally kidding.
What does that mean?
Apparently, only some people matter
to John.
Only some lives matter to John.
No, wasn't that a horror movie with what's her name?
Anyway.
Mm-hmm.
Anyway,
moving on.
Yes, moving on.
Wow.
Yes. So, the one and only Junot Diaz has had some things to reckon with these past couple of weeks. So if you guys don't know, he is a Afro-Dominican author, and he wrote and it's the only book I've ever read from him, so it's the only one I know. But he wrote The Brief and Wondrous Life of Oscar Wilde. Excuse me. He came out with an article for the New York Times, I believe, about a month ago, where he talked about being sexually assaulted as a child and the way that impacted the relationships that he had with women as he got older. And so, kind of after the dust settled on that, a lot of women came forward and spoke about either the sexual harassment that they faced from him or just general harassment. Like condescending, him like berating them at his readings or at his event. One woman, I wish I could remember her name, said that he forced a kiss on her. And so it's just brought, forth a big discussion because, very few, writers of color get to really be in the position that, Junot Diaz was in. He's very well known, very well respected, and very, very well regarded. And so he's like headlining a lot of writing events and workshops and whatnot. And so, this has brought up a big discussion on, the way that we kind of like support men of color in industries where they're a rarity. And, for a lot of, like, I know especially a lot of Afro-Dominicans, Junot Diaz was telling their stories, telling things, talking about things that were familiar to them. And so they really clung to him as their hero. And, there's definitely like that urge to like, defend, someone who's one of the few people that you have to really cling to. But, right now I think it's really, and as many other people have already said, I think it's really important to embrace the women who have spoken out against him, and also to like take this opportunity to recognize and acknowledge some Afro-Dominican women. I know like Elizabeth Acevedo has a book called The Poet X, which made the New York Times bestseller list. It's amazing. From what I've heard, I haven't read it yet, but I've heard it's really amazing. I've seen her speak, and her poetry is just crazy and amazing. There's just, I don't know a lot. I don't know a lot. That's something that I still need to explore and learn myself. But, yeah, I think this is a really good time to like, I guess, talk about, the way that we, sort of protect men, especially, men of color in our communities, because they're the only one or one of the few.
Right. Yeah. I was really taken aback by all this, but also like I feel like a lot of people too have found problems. Like, The Brief and Wondrous Life of Oscar Wilde was probably like one of my favorite books of all time.
Same.
But I still found problems with it, and like I remember bringing some stuff with people, and they were just like, "Oh, like whatever." And like a lot of people would find problems with his books that like there was like I feel like in Brief and Wondrous Life of Oscar Wilde there was kind of a bit of a nice guy narrative there, and I thought that was gross.
Definitely, it turned me off of the book initially.
And so, but like everything else, because every other part of this aspect of the story was so interesting to me that like I stuck with it, and it's a great book. But the thing is, like, I think we have to be better, at like keeping them accountable, but also like really deconstructing the art when there's like a problematic aspect about it. And apart from that, I think it's a good thing also to like it, because I think this whole thing also made me kind of like look back and be like, because whatever, I went through my own shit and like abuse or whatever, and then I had to think like, okay, and like what arose from that, and like have I reproduced any of that, and like is there anything that about me that was kind of fucked up. And I saw this thing that said something like, if you're a survivor of abuse, like make sure during your healing that apart from healing from your abuse, you're also letting go of the abusive tactics you learned to survive. And like I'm trying to take a look at that and be like, oh shit, like what have I done, and like how have I damaged other people in an attempt to kind of like stay safe myself, and like heal. Having to kind of really take a look at yourself and being like, wait, actually this X, Y, and Z was fucked up, and you really need to like work on that. So
yeah, I mean, it comes into like a lot of people are like, well, he was sexually abused, and it's like, yeah, like and that sucks. Right. Like, he didn't deserve that, but that doesn't give him an excuse to abuse other people or use other people as a stepping stone to his healing.
Yeah. Same.
So it just brought up a huge conversation, and I think it kind of touches on like the whole like what was her name, Beverly? I can't remember her last name. The model who Bill Cosby drugged. I can't remember her name, but she talked back in the 80s. She said, back in the 80s, Bill Cosby did this to her. And she said that before she didn't come forward because she felt like she had to protect the image of black men. And it just is like this idea that like, that black women should sacrifice their safety or their well-being to protect just the image of black men. And in this case, still, a black man, Afro-Latino man. But, this idea that, like, people should be silent so that we can uplift these men at any cost, that's crazy. That's ludicrous. Like, yes, be pro-black, but not at the expense of black women.
Yeah.
And not at the expense of any woman, really. Like, it shouldn't be at the expense of someone else to uplift you.
But again, like, these things, like someone like Junot Diaz, who is a literary giant and is Latinx, Afro-Latinx specifically, like they come around so rarely, or like they're giving the platform so rarely that it's just like, we want to like me and like a lot of people have been like super fucked up over this, honestly. But like,
yeah,
because like, you know, he was a fucking hero. So like, yeah, it's all fucked.
So moving forward, white people have been just losing their minds, calling the cops on everybody. And so I think there was a case in Rialto where 3 black women were leaving their Airbnb, and there was a white neighbor of the lady there, the owner of the house, who I guess waved and smiled at them, and they didn't smile back at her, so she called the cops on them. And then like they were stuck. They were like, I guess there was multiple police cars, and they were stuck for at least an hour. I don't remember if it was more than that, but it was at least an hour. And they're suing. Good. One of them is Bob Marley's granddaughter, so they're suing. Like they're like, you know what? Up. Yeah, and it's just like, and there was in Oakland there was a cookout. I guess some a family was having a cookout, and this white lady saw them and threatened to put them in jail and called the cops on them. And then, you know, a bunch of black people just decided to show up and have a giant cookout. So I thought that was really funny.
Yeah,
petty, and I live.
Yeah, so it was so petty, and it was just so me. But you know, it's just like at this point, like I think you have to know what you're doing, and when you're white and you're calling the cops on people, like you know that the power that you hold, and you're fully aware that you can easily threaten black people. And I think if you're in this climate, and you know the effects of police brutality, there's no way you can avoid it. The topic is everywhere. I think you're a terrorist. If you're calling the cops on black people, I think you're a terrorist.
Yeah, I saw something.
I don't see the lie.
I saw something that said like if you're like uncomfortable with a black person's presence and you call the police, you're basically it's like attempted murder. Because you know what's gonna go down.
Wow.
So
yeah.
I actually saw well, Renee, actually to that point, there have been black people who've done that where they've committed suicide that way, which is like kind of crazy.
Right.
But I watched the video today of the what?
I'm sorry. Can you explain that?
Well, there have been some black people that have committed suicide by calling the cops, knowing that they would be threatened by them, and yeah. Okay. I mean, I can send you articles if you. Oh, okay. Yeah, that's what I thought.
I know what you meant by that.
Yeah. There have also been. I saw the video of the white lady who called the cops on the people who did the barbecue today, and it was just like, it was like I was sitting there like, are you? She was sitting there like, oh, well, it's charcoal in the grill, and that's why I'm calling the police, and that's why I'm doing this, and you're not allowed to have charcoal here, and then so this white lady's filming it the whole time, and shout out to that lady's phone's battery power, because she was filming for like 24 minutes. I was shook, but she was talking to these other black people around, and she's like, before I got here, how was she talking to you? And she was like, oh, she's really hostile. So the white lady walks up and she's like, oh, so that old white lady routine is not going to work with me, huh? And then at some point she goes, how about you give me my shit back and stop being a little bitch? Like she was going off. And then when the cops she leaves, and when the cops finally do get there,
oh my God, I'm dead.
She starts like crying and like whatever, and the guy is like, what the fuck? Like,
yeah,
what is?
Well, wait, I'm sorry. Who was saying? So wait, the white woman who called the cops was saying all this stuff to the other people. Is that what you were initially saying?
Sorry. So the white lady who called the cops was just standing there on her phone for a while, and some second white lady like came.
Oh, she came over and she was talking that shit, right?
She was talking that shit.
Okay, I just wanted to make sure I was cheering for the right person. I got lost for a second. Okay, keep going. Sorry,
this is white on white crime. So then, like I guess the white lady who was recording had like a phone or like a card or something, and she was showing it to the white lady who was calling the police, and the white lady who called the police like took it and went and give it back to her, and she's like, oh, it's ironic that you're calling the black people criminals, but you're the one who stole my shit. Wow. And then so she like followed her around, and so she got her car back, and the police came and met them at like some convenience store, and the white lady who come
through emails.
Sorry, it was Twitter. So the white lady the white lady who called the cops originally started like crying, and the police officer's like, "Bitch, what the fuck?" Like,
she was Aquaria.
Oh,
the Aquaria jumped out.
Oh, well,
the Aquaria jumped out.
I don't see the lie. So, right
I actually get that reference.
Oh, you saw that?
I'm shook.
So yeah, it's just like so many. I just feel like at this point, like y'all said, they know what they're doing. They know that it makes people uncomfortable, and they know that you could potentially die from that. And I think that that's the point.
Yeah.
Like, and so at this point, Baze, like you said, it's it's black terrorism. So or terrorism on black people. So yeah, trash.
So moving forward, y'all heard of this little Tay girl?
Who?
Little Tay. This little Asian girl that would be walking around talking about.
I saw the article.
Get some money. She was like, "You niggas is broke." Like, it's just this little girl like just talking mad shit.
About who?
Azealia Banks?
No, in general.
Oh,
what are you talking
about?
Where'd that come from?
You said talking mad shit, so.
Oh. No, but basically she's just not. Huh? She's just this random 9-year-old girl, and she's always like, 3 years ago I was broke in Atlanta, but you know what? I got some money, so you bitches need to get some money. And I was like, girl, you was 6 3 years ago. But anyway,
what does she do?
She's been this Twitter person. She's been this Twitter and Instagram personality. She was involved in that little altercation at Bad Bobby. Somebody's name on Twitter's name is Bad Bobby Hill.
As in, like, oh my god,
so funny.
But anyway, she so she was involved in some type of altercation with her, and she's just been she's amassed Twitter and Instagram fame from just doing these videos where she's just flexing with money and houses and cars and shit. But apparently her mother, who's a real estate agent in Vancouver, that's what she was flexing with. It was the clients of her mom's, so it was their stuff. So the employer found out, and homegirl's mom just got fired. And it's just really sad to me because it's this little girl's being put out there. People have sent rape threats, death threats to this little 9-year-old girl, and it's just she obviously the shit that she's saying is horrible, and obviously she definitely needs some parenting. And it's just sad to me that she's a little girl and she's being put out there like that, and her parents are the ones that are pushing her is the saddest part. And I think that honestly, CPS needs to be calling them. So,
I don't really know who that is, so I don't really have. Not gay. Sucks for her.
Yeah.
Sorry.
No, it's fine. So Childish Gambino video. Thoughts?
I didn't hate it as much as other people did, and part of that was because I'm just super desensitized to a lot of stuff at this point in my life, which I don't know is a good thing, but I saw that there were a lot of think pieces about it, mostly about how people use black pain and that kind of thing in their art to monetize and make money. And I get that to a degree, but I also feel like if you're black and you want to express that, you're allowed to do that. I mean, also, I think that it's not for everybody, and not everyone is going to be able to intake that kind of imagery. But for me personally, I didn't necessarily feel offended by it. I get why other people are, but I necessarily wasn't. I think a lot of the reaction though hasn't been necessarily about him as much as it has been the reaction to him. I think a lot of it has been about oh, well, people were calling him a genius and this and this or whatever, and it's that he can't control that. So I personally didn't really have issues with it. I thought it was a really interesting concept in terms of there's all this shit going on, but you're really only paying attention to the dancing and that kind of thing. So I thought that part was really interesting. I also found the fact that they treated the guns better than the people really interesting.
Whoa.
Like the guns were placed on like this red
pillows
and stuff, and like the people weren't, and like the bodies were dragged off.
I didn't even catch that.
Yeah, it was just, I mean, to me, there was a lot of stuff, and I feel like I need to watch it more because I've only seen it like 4 times, but I need to watch it more to kind of catch other things. But yeah, for me personally, I didn't necessarily feel as outraged as others were, but I'm not outraged about a lot. So that's just me.
Yeah.
So I don't know. What did y'all think?
So, okay. So I have like, complicated feelings towards Childish Gambino, period, but I felt like I understood why people were like, oh my god, I love it, blah 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 blah, but I just felt like there was like a very I agree with you, he can't really control people calling him a genius. I thought that was like a lot. I thought they were giving him a lot. I thought that what it was more shocking than anything. I didn't really find the video to be all that creative in terms of like a message, like, oh, you guys are distracted by dancing while all this real shit is happening in the background. Like every nigga with like a fucking, I don't know, wooden fist afro pick has said that. Like it's not groundbreaking information. And I just find it interesting, like I mean, as you were saying, again, it's the reaction. I just found it interesting how, when it came to like, Beyonce or like Solange or like even Janelle Monáe talking about blackness and like uplifting blackness, they were able to do so in a way that wasn't disposing of black bodies, and in fact did it in a way that uplifted us. And so I felt, to me, I didn't know who the message was really for in the video, and so it kind of like took me out of it.
Can I ask you a question? Do you think that you could do both though? Like, I feel like there's room for both. Like, but that's just me.
No, you can't. You can. I think that the way that it was done was very shock factory, and it didn't. And maybe there is a way to do it. I just didn't feel that like he accomplished anything that like, to me, that like was like, oh my god. Like I didn't. When I watched it again before we recorded. Excuse me. I watched it again before we recorded. And it still felt pretty triggering. I had to like look away from like the shooting, like the people being shot when that happened. But for me, it just felt like it was just a bunch of like things for shock factor. And like, it's funny because it seemed the message was, you guys are distracted by all this fun shit while all this shit is going on in the background. And now like his videos is a meme. You know what I mean?
But also,
and, like,
oh, go ahead. Sorry.
No, I'm just saying like people like took it, you know what I mean? And then like, it's not, and that's not his fault, but it's just, again, it's just like, to me, it's just like, and also like, please people stop, like, please don't send us memes of that video. I really don't want to see a joke being made out of people being killed.
So I'm also confused because like, I don't like, how are people memeing? I've heard that, but I haven't seen anything. So I was confused.
There's like a bunch of there's a bunch of memes of like when he's shooting the guy with the bag over his head, it's like me as the person shooting, and then like, I don't know, whatever it is,
oh,
they don't like
come
being
on.
shot in the head. Yeah.
What y'all do?
So,
okay.
Yeah, so there's a lot of that going on. Some white woman spoofed the video, so like that's
what?
happening right now.
I saw that.
Yeah.
That's trash.
No.
But
I didn't even look at it. I don't know who she is. I just saw that she's like a comedian, quote unquote, and she yeah.
I feel like that's kind of the point though. Like if it is being memed and that kind of thing, I think part of it was like, this is going to be memed, or like, or maybe not this is going to be memed, but the fact that that's happening isn't necessarily about facilitating the conversation. I don't know. But
I don't know. And I also feel like a lot of people's issue with him is the fact that, like, I know for me, I remember he, what did he do? He said, that he didn't like he used to fetishize the shit out of like Asian women, and like would like talk shit about like black women. They didn't want to date him because he was a nerd, and so that was why he like doesn't date black women. And I'm just tired of that narrative, first of all, because one, half the reason they don't fuck with you is because you're anti-black anyway already. And also he was like saying things like, oh, I wouldn't date a Filipino because they're the black women of Asian women.
Oof.
Okay.
Like he said all kinds of really like really weird fucked up shit about like black women. I've like had friends who've been to his shows and he's like shouted out like every race of women except for black women. Like, where are my Asian girls at? Where are my white girls at? Like, where are my Latino women at? And then just doesn't say anything about black women. So like, I think he has a huge issue with black women anyway. And like, so for a lot of reasons, I like just don't particularly like, I'm not a fan. That being said, I really did like the song and I do listen to it at the gym. So
yeah,
that's all I can really say about that.
Only thing I want to add to that is I do kind of want to, the Filipino thing and all the other shit is definitely valid. The thing I want to, not Filipino shit, I'm sorry. The stuff you said about Filipino people was invalid. But the stuff,
I had to look, I was like, wait,
sorry, I saw that. I realized what I said. What I do want to comment on is the nerd thing, because I think sometimes that narrative is, I feel sometimes that people don't understand it unless you've experienced it. And I think that there is trauma that happens. And I saw this on Twitter the other day, and I wish I had the thread up, but it was like, there is trauma that happens when you are a black person and you are a certain way. Because I know when I was growing up and I was telling people I like Paramore or I like Linkin Park, I was told I was whitewashed and I was told this, and that did make me anti-black for a really long time. Like, I felt that like I couldn't, I felt that I was proud to be black, but I was told by other black people that I wasn't because of the shit that I liked. So that does make you kind of feel a little bit, like, well, what the fuck? And I'm not saying that it's right, but that's something that you have to grow out of. So I can understand where that kind of sentiment comes from, because go ahead.
I just feel like, so I definitely was like, I was reading Harry Potter fan fiction. I was like watching Turner Classic Movies, and like I was like obsessed with like a bunch of like nerdy shit. I used to like skip school so I could go home and play The Sims. Like, I was 100% a nerd. I definitely was called whitewashed. I was definitely, but the thing is, like, I think there has to come to a point where you're like, you have to stop using that as an excuse for your anti-blackness, because you know what? A lot of the people that were telling me that I was whitewashed were also not black people. Like, a lot of them were black people, but a lot of non-black people were also telling me that I was not really black. You know, a lot of the things that like a lot of people, like especially nerd people, complain about black people doing is a lot of things that I, who was a nerd, experienced from non-black people as well. So like, I feel like at some point you have to like decide, like, are you gonna just be anti-black for the rest of your life, or are you gonna like actually own up to your shit and stop using like experiences with certain people? Because you're not the only black person that's ever listened to a certain kind of music or liked fan fiction. I'm not the only black person that liked TCM. I'm not the only black person that liked fan fiction. I'm not the only black person that liked Harry Potter. So like, I think at some point you gotta realize, like, there's a lot of there's this thing that a lot of black nerds do where they like think that they're like exceptional and they're like, they stand out and they're just like not like any of the other blacks. And like, I definitely felt that too, but I feel like at some point, like, you gotta like acknowledge that and like move past it. And if you don't, then like, he was like, sorry, go ahead.
I fully agree with you, but I think that there is an element of like, you are different. And that's not to say that like,
then you are different, like from the standard, like what's considered the norm. Yeah.
And I don't disagree with you at all. All I'm saying is I understand where that mindset comes from and why some people have it. And I know for him, he said that like he makes music for black nerds. So I don't know a lot about him. Again, I don't know nor like research him or whatever. But all I'm saying is I can understand why certain people feel like that, but you're right in that it is your responsibility, like me and you had to do, to say, well, okay, well, the people who are picking on me obviously like aren't representative of blackness as a whole, but I get why it's hard sometimes for them to like to get there, because there's like this residual kind of like trauma. And the reason I say that is because sometimes I feel like black people have to own up for the shit that black people do to each other. And I'm not saying this black on black crime thing, but I'm saying that shit like that does happen. So I'm saying that there's
inter-community issues that we need to take care of. And
that's all. Just that there's room for
that's fair.
There's room for that kind of discussion. That is all. But anyway,
I have
okay. So I guess we could. Sorry, go ahead.
Oh. Sorry, just like 2 comments. I'm not going to comment on it as a whole because it's probably not my place. But speaking of the trauma that you just mentioned, Rakeem, do you guys think that Childish Gambino should have reached out to the families of the church victims? Because I feel like specifically that was that reference, correct?
I just think he should have not done it, to be honest with you.
I don't know. I don't know how I feel about that particular part of the video yet. I'm still kind of processing it because I wasn't expecting that to happen, and that's why I agree with Baze in that a lot of it was done for kind of shock value.
Right. Well, that was also my next comment too. I think Baze had asked like, who is this for? And I think from what I've seen and from what I know from a lot of like of his fans, a lot of his fans aren't. They're like straight non-black dudes, you know.
Mm-hmm.
And I think I'm hoping that like, because you know, for black folks, it's like they already know this, you know, and for a lot of communities who have been through a lot of stuff, like they already know this. But like, I think this is a wake up call for folks who haven't been watching and haven't been listening. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like this is for your like rich white dude who's like really into hip hop and like doesn't do any of the work. It's just like, you know what I mean?
Yeah, I still would have rather he just not done it.
Right. I know, I understand, but because I've actually like I talked to a lot of my straight friends about this who I know are like fans of him and who like watch Atlanta and like because it's brilliant, and I'm just like, so what do you think about the video? And like, oh yeah, I love it, and blah blah blah. Like I can't stop watching it, but I'm like, but do you understand what is happening in the video? Like,
yeah.
Are you like, have you been watching and like? What are your thoughts on like his like political commentary he's making, and like because now I feel like now you're just noticing,
right?
Know, because
I just feel like people are saying they feel like, oh, it's so powerful because people have said it's powerful, so like people are just saying it like, oh my god, this means so much, and it's like, okay, but how so?
But
and
also
they can't answer that.
But also, Baze, I feel like we look at things in an echo chamber sometimes. Where I was listening to this podcast about like political art, right, and it was talking about like paintings and stuff, and it was talking about who are they for, right? Mm-hmm. Like what's the point of political art? Because you're not really trying to convince Trump voters to not vote for Trump, and I think sometimes it's like almost expressing frustration. So sometimes I feel like the point isn't necessarily always to convert people as much as it is like, this is something that is happening, and I kind of want to comment on it or talk about it. But again, I don't know. I think that the video requires way more than like a 15-minute conversation.
Like putting it in the package that's palatable to people.
Yeah, and also like we're in groups where we talk about this stuff all the time,
right?
And like
that's what I meant.
The topics aren't revolutionary to us.
Like some people already know, but there's a lot of people who don't know.
Sorry, we're going long.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Yeah. Okay.
I just wanted to cover two more topics. Just really quick, I don't really care too much about this. But I thought it was annoying. Karambi from what's that show called?
Queer Eye.
Queer Eye.
Wait, you said Karambi?
That's not his name?
It's Karamo.
Oh, yikes.
You're thinking about Harambe the gorilla. Yikes.
Oh.
Harambe.
The anti-blackness jumped out. I'm sorry. I did not. That was not intentional. So Karamo got engaged to a white man, and Hornet came out. Their article said something to the effect of this. He's engaged, and this is like a revolutionary moment for the for interracial relationships. And of course, they got dragged because the only like. Let's just be real. Like, let's name a black gay man that's dating another black gay man. Name a famous one.
Wow.
And no. How about this? Name a famous black gay man who's not dating a white man.
Ooh.
Name one.
Just
one. That's all.
Grimes.
You can't. What?
Wow.
You can't. So like, it's just like. The fact that like any valid relationship has to involve a white person. Think about Tyler the Creator. Think about Steve Lacy. Think about Frank Ocean. Think about like the way that. Well, I don't know about Frank Ocean. Like literally, I've heard things. Let me not say anything about him because I don't know for a fact about him. But you know, you have a lot of these black queer adjacent men who've like spoken about their obsession with white boys, and it's like not unusual. And I think it's kind of harmful, honestly. That pretty much every famous black gay man is like obsessed with white boys and is in a relationship with a white boy. Sean T. But the issue is it sucks because it's not their individual fault, but because of this continuous trend, this continuing trend is just like, okay, so like apparently you know, that's the way to do it. You have to be in a relationship. And I think with a white person, and that sends a message to, I think, to younger black people that you have to be like with a white person. And you know what? I noticed something too is like, I've been like, if I see a cute guy, like especially a cute black guy on like Twitter or something, I like go into their likes. And you know, it's not even just black guys. I'll go into like cute, like if I see like a cute any guy, like of any race, right? Non-white, of course. And I go into their likes, and it's all like a bunch of like, it's actually, I'll see like the same white guy like 20 different times. And I'm just like,
especially on Tumblr likes, it be giving you niggas away.
But girl, you really need to be looking at Twitter, because especially on Twitter, because you can lock your Tumblr likes. Niggas can't hide their likes on Twitter. It's literally the same guy. Either he's white or he's like the very specific, like lighter skinned Latino with like the dark brown hair, and like maybe he has a beard, maybe he doesn't, and he's like ambiguous enough that he can maybe be like a light skinned a dark skinned Italian or something. He's like Ariana Grande white, maybe. Like, it's just like the same guy over and over again. Maybe he has a sleeve, maybe he doesn't, but he always has muscles. It's just like the same thing over and over again. So like, it's just like, I don't know. It's just annoying to me. And that's like a separate issue altogether. I'm actually kind of going off. But the point is that I really didn't care. Like, a lot of people were actually really mad on Twitter about this like relationship. They were like, he's such a coon. And on Real World, he was so pro-black, and he didn't like, I didn't even know he was on Real World. And he didn't even like white people, but now he's on the white train and blah, blah, blah. I didn't care about all that. Like, I don't, like, that's his relationship. If he wants to be with a white man, I don't know his history. I don't know who he's been dating before. I don't know who he's dating after. And also, it's none of my business. I don't care. Like, I do not care. I do not care about Karamo. I don't care about Karamo. He doesn't do anything for me. I don't, like, I have, like, even if we're talking about Queer Eye, I'm much more fascinated by, what's his name? The one that looks like Jesus?
Oh, Jonathan.
Jonathan is the breakout star of that show. That's the only one I care about. So, at the end of the day, like, go off.
The one that
and
looks
I didn't
like
get why
white
people were
Jesus,
so mad.
you mean?
White Jesus, you're right. I'm sorry. But anyway, what did y'all think?
I 100% agree with everything you just said. I will say this, Base, I think you made a very good point about it's not their fault kind of thing. Because I think that but I'm wondering, like, why? Because I think sometimes that's why white supremacy is such a bitch, because you subconsciously sometimes put like whiteness on this pedestal to where you feel like you're validated by getting a white person. And so I've said on the show before that it's not dating white people that's the problem. It's prioritizing and putting whiteness on a pedestal that is the issue. And Karamo is interesting to me because I don't know if he does that or not, but he's just said some really stupid shit before, like about like how he doesn't like how people post shirtless pictures and all this shit on apps or whatever. And then like I can't remember like who it was, but like some gay or queer publication put that as an article, but then put a picture that he took shirtless as the profile, as the picture for the article. And like, he's also said shit like he doesn't believe in the apps, and like, so I don't know. He said some really dumb shit before. So
I'm so not a fan.
Yeah, but I think the point of it was that it was saying that like, oh, this is like interracial dating or interracial relationship, like, not promo, what's the word I'm looking for? Visibility. And it's like, girl, like you just said, we don't need interracial visibility. Like, I just flash forward to Empire, where they refused to put homeboy in a black and black gay relationship, but you know, whatever.
Yeah, I mean, I wish I had been
he even dated Alicia Keys, a light-skinned stud, and can't put him with, well, I guess she's black too, but anyway.
Anyway. I don't care, but I also like, I just thought it was funny, but for what it's worth, Hornet did apologize, and they said that they will try to do better in the future.
Yes.
Okay. So is the last thing Azealia Banks and Cardi B?
Of course. You already know what it is. So, for those of y'all who haven't been paying attention, Miss Azealia Banks made her debut on The Breakfast Club.
The Breakfast Club.
The Breakfast Club. She wore her short little middle parted bob.
Queen.
And she had her cat eye glasses. Queen. And she talked a lot about a lot of things. Some points were made. Some points were made. I will agree to that. There were some points that were made. But the thing about so then she said that Cardi B is a caricature of a black woman, and she's just now new to being a black woman, and that she that her and like Nicki Minaj could not talk the way that Cardi B talks and get away with it. And then like Cardi B came back and was like, "This is how I talk. This is who I am. Like, you're trying to tear down another black woman. Blah 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 blah. Like you can't do this and then try to act like you're uplifting black women. Like, you're always tearing other black women down." And then Cardi B like closed her thing down, and like her Instagram, she put her Instagram, like I think she either deleted or put it on private, and then she put her Twitter on private as well.
Dang.
What did you think, Baze? Like, how did you?
I thought there were some points made on both sides, honestly. Like, I thought, here's the thing. I think that Cardi B is clearly Afro-Latina. I think that black people have got to stop trying to validate black Afro-Latinos. Like, you've got to stop doing it. It exists. It's a real thing. They are black too. I think that she needs to, like, I think she is making valid points. Like, Cardi B benefits heavily from light skin privilege, and if Nicki Minaj or Azealia Banks talk the way that Cardi B talks, they would get dragged and they wouldn't be taken seriously. Like, that's fact. But I think that Cardi B is not someone who is like in a headspace to take criticism or think deeply about a lot of these issues. And that's not saying that she's not intelligent enough to. I just don't think that she's willing to. And so I don't think she's like open to and engaged in this discussion fully to have like to talk about like, well, being light skinned and that the ways that benefits her. And what? Go ahead.
I don't think it's a conversation she started, right? Like, so I don't think she has to engage in it. Like, I think the thing is, I don't disagree with what you were saying. Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
Well, no, she doesn't have to, but like,
she's pregnant. She's trying to sit the fuck down. I don't in a pickle. Like, I don't think that she has to respond. And I actually would say she wouldn't respond to half the shit that people say about her. And I think that would make her life a lot easier. But I think that Azealia did have points, but they're not Cardi's fault. I think it's a system that set up. No,
definitely.
That sets her up. And Cardi has said numerous times that like, all she is a bitch from the Bronx, and she doesn't know why she's successful how she is. Cardi B is not trying to sit there and be like the patron saint of black women. She's never said that. She's trying to be Cardi B. So my issue with Azealia is that I was with her in that interview until she started talking about other people, because to me, you can't sit there and talk about you're for black women and you're for this and you hate misogynoir when you perpetrate it yourself. Like, you sat there and you called Cupcake like a gorilla or an ape or something like last week. You sat there, you tried to argue with Sky Jackson. You sat there, you called Zayn's mom a refugee and some other stuff. You said this about you called someone else a tar baby. So it's like, when you say stuff like that, it's hard for me to sit there and listen to what you're saying, even though if you are making valid points, because although Cardi is not wrong and I have my issues with her too, Azalea's issue to me is it comes off as bitter. It does. And I know that I know that's a common criticism of her, but it's annoying to me because every single time it's like she was doing so well. And I was like, yes, you're right. Nicki can't talk like this. And Cardi does, and she's able to do that, and we know why, but that's not her fault. That's how she is. It's the system's fault. So critique the system and don't try to sit there and like go for, like, you constantly dig after other people, and it's like you're not capable of just talking about your art and letting it speak for itself. Put it in raps. I'm tired of it. And so it's like, I said Andrew Wintour was a bop. It's a bop, but I'm just tired of this constant like tearing down of other people, and then people always making excuses for her. Like, enough is enough. I'm tired of it. Like, I want her to do well, but she won't do well because you don't know how to sit there and learn when to not say stuff. I'm not saying that you can't have opinions, but you can't sit there and talk shit about everyone and then play the victim. You can't do it. It doesn't work like that.
I mean, you're totally right. Like, and that's what I've always said about Azealia, is that like she always makes points. She always has so many great points,
and then she's
always making the right point. But she always has to wrap it in like some extra ass shit.
It's like Beyonce,
and do it in a way that doesn't like benefit anyone.
It's like Beyonce says in that song. She says, "Fuck it up and then leave, come back, fuck it up and leave again." And it's just like, I wish, like, Azealia makes such good points. That bob was amazing. She looks amazing. That green looked good on her. But it's just like, she's like 80% there most of the time. And it says some shit that just fucks it up. So I'm just like, sis, I can't. So
I did want to say that, like, you know, like, shout out to her and thank Azealia for, like, sharing her experience, because she did, you know, talk very openly about her assault.
Yes.
And there was something else I wanted to point. Oh yeah, shout out to her for, like, talking about Israel, because I was just like, I like the part of me has always wanted to go, but, like, yeah, my black ass don't need to go to no fucking Israel. If Azealia Banks, I mean, not that, like, you know, I think she gets much respect, but if a celebrity can't go to Israel and be treated well, like, who the fuck am I?
Yeah. So, I want her to do well. I want her to succeed, but I don't know if she wants it for herself. So, anyway.
Ooh. Yeah. What else was I gonna say?
Wait, did you see the part where somebody was like, an intern said that you make music for gays, and she was like, yeah, and what?
Yes.
She was like, okay. She was like, what now?
Renee,
and she's like, and so what now?
She looks so good. I remember saying like 5 times, she looks so fucking good. Like, she is so, I just realized how pretty she is. Like, she's gorgeous.
She is. And they need to stop calling each other ugly. Like, stop.
Sorry, go ahead.
Go ahead, Renee.
Oh, I was gonna say, sorry, I'm in and out, and also we just had an earthquake, so I ran out. But I was gonna say, like, there's this weird thing. I totally get, you know, what y'all were saying, and Rakeem, especially you, about, like, you know, it comes off differently than she wants it to, but, like, I feel like there's this thing where, like,
oh girl,
I don't know. I just feel sometimes, you know, you see an issue, you, like, see, like, an issue, like a structural issue, a societal issue, and, like, somebody is benefiting from that, and you pointing at that person and saying, hey, that person right there is benefiting from this, can come off as you being bitter. But
well, it's not that she said it, it's the way she's doing it.
It's how she said
it.
We do it all the time.
Right.
Like,
that's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying is like, but the thing is, and yeah, okay, and I get what you're saying, like, she's not, like, you know, super, she doesn't put it in, like, a little tiny, you know, beautiful package to present it that's, like, ready for presentation. Like, she doesn't do that, obviously. But, like, I do think that there is this other thing of just, like, even when we do that, well, I'm going to speak for me and Latinx folks. Even when that does happen, like, even if you have a valid point, you're still going to come off and look to a lot of people as bitter. Do you know what I'm saying?
But context is important, and when other people do it, it doesn't come off as bitter because of
no. I would say
done.
that it does. I would say that for a lot of people, like, if I were to sit down, like, and, like, some of the conversations we've had on here, I've had white people say to me, like, "Oh, you sound bitter." Do you know what I'm saying? And this is the thing, like, it's just like, it's a no-win situation if, like, you're gonna point a societal issue out, because it looks like I've had even other people of color call me bitter for saying this person is doing this, and, like, it's easier for them to do this because of how they look, or because of their cultural capital, because of their actual capital, the money they have, the access, etc., etc. And we, no matter what, if you point the issue out, you're going to come off as bitter. I'm not saying that Azealia is, you know, going about it in, like, the nicest way, but I'm just saying, no matter what, to a lot of folks, especially a lot of white folks, and, like, even a lot of POC that aren't completely in tune, pointing something out, or pointing, like, hey, this person is here, but look at why they're here, or look at the structural issues that have made it easier for them, it's gonna come off as, like, a bad thing.
But this was off-putting to people who even are into. This is off-putting to black people
and I'm not
dark skin who know what.
Yeah, and I'm not talking about Azealia in general. I'm just saying, and that's not. I'm not saying, like, or excusing Azealia. I'm just saying, like, in general, no matter what, as people of color, pointing something out is gonna make you look better. So it's just, like, you know, either way, like, it's just well, fuck.
to a degree, yes, but I don't think she's the hill to die on for this, because in that same conversation, we're talking about upholding structures and shit. She said that she voted for Trump because she wanted a tax break.
Right.
So it's just like,
and then she's also calling people roaches and monkeys and all kinds of anti-black slurs.
So it's like, you can't sit there and talk about misogynoir when you sat there and voted for a man. Like, it's just like, come on, like, it's just like, so to me, when trans people are getting banned from the military, and he's calling Mexicans rapists and making fun of disabled reporters and not sending money to Puerto Rico, I'm supposed to sit there and be like, oh, I'm not gonna sit there and be like, okay, what's this, like, whatever, because Anna Wintour's a Bob? Hell no. Like, she sat there and voted for that. So,
and this, like, and the thing is, but did you listen to her conversation about what she said about that, or no?
Well, she said that she did all this before he was president, and then she's like now come around. Right. But again, at the end of the day, there's a lack of consistency with Azealia Banks. She says things when it's convenient for her to call people out or talk about power structures. When when it's time for her to lord those power structures over other people and call them names that are anti-black, that are anti-dark skin, then it's fine.
I feel
so. It's just, there's no consistency, and Azealia Banks is very much like Kanye West in the sense that she only wants to talk about, like, power imbalances and anti this and anti that when it, like, suits her purpose. Not when it's, like, for other people. You don't ever see her going to bat for other people. It's always because she's ready to start some shit.
All I'll say about Azealia is this, is I feel like if her music sucked, no one would be having this conversation about her. So it's just kind of like, people, like, but that's fine. Like, the thing is, I'm not judging anyone for that. It's just, I think that sometimes the conversation around her becomes blown up because it's like, she makes good music. And it's like, if her music was shitty, no one would be entertaining the conversations that she has. So it's just like, so it's like, to me, her music isn't good enough to override a Trump vote. And that's just me. But for other people it is, and I'm not judging you for that. As in,
I'm still gonna listen to her music. I'm sorry.
But that's what I'm saying about this whole culture, is that it's different for every single person. So all I'm asking for is, like, if Azealia does these things and it's okay, then it has to be okay when other people do it. Because otherwise it doesn't mesh with me. And then that makes me wonder, well, why are we having these conversations in the first place? Like, because it's like, if we have to pick and choose where it applies, then I don't get it. Like, and that's not directed at anyone or anything like that. It's just, I've seen that happen, especially on the last 3 days, because I've looked at this conversation a lot on my timeline, and people that listen to the show know how me and Renee feel about Azealia. So I get sent a lot of stuff. So it's just kind of like, it's just interesting to see from my perspective that people will make excuses for her or excuse things that she does, but when other people do something similar, it's like they're canceled and it's over. And I don't think her being a black woman is enough because of what she said about other black women. But that's just me. So
I mean, here's the thing. I'm just speaking for myself right now, but there are a lot of things, and I'm gonna explain, like, let's say, like, why I'm so connected to her, but there are a lot of things that she will say, like, even in this interview, that I'm just like, shit, I've said that myself, like, or I've thought that myself. But, like, I mean, I obviously have not, gone the way that she's gone about it, or, like, maybe said, like, some of the fucked up shit she did. But, like, there are some points that are, like, so, like, hitting the nail on the head that I'm just like, shit. And, like, maybe it's, maybe it's fucked up for me to hold on to that and being like, oh, like, maybe because she gets some of this stuff, like, she'll eventually, kind of veer towards the right direction. But
she's not going to. I've been holding out that hope for years, and it's just not going to happen. Like, she came out in 2011, y'all. This is 9 years almost.
Right.
Wait, that's 7 years. I can't do math.
The thing
wow. Yeah, I was like, let's correct that base.
One of the biggest.
Shut up.
Oh, but yeah, one of the biggest things with me is, again, just like a lot, like, I would say, like, maybe like 50%, not the other 50, obviously, but 50% of what she says when she's not, like, going overboard with shit. I'm just like, holy shit, wait, she has a point. Like, she brought up, like, the shit with, like, Clinton and Trump. Like, she's like, I voted for Trump, yes. And she's like, but, like, how much different really is Clinton? Like, how much different really are, like, Democrats? And, like, do they really care about black folks at the end of the day? Do Democrats care about black folks or, like, people of color?
Well, that's That's a discourse,
right.
to be honest.
Right. And
you,
so
yeah.
that's what I'm saying. Like these are like the things that I kind of, maybe I shouldn't, but these are the things that I'm holding on to that I'm just like, yes, like you're getting it. But like, again, you know, there's stuff that is.
Well, girl, you're gonna be defending her for the rest of your life.
It's not.
No, because I know there's stuff that's inexcusable. I know there's stuff, and there's stuff that even like it's not even my place to even like try to excuse it. Do you know what I'm saying? So like, but I get it. But like also like she's just like, you know, there's stuff that I'm just like fuck.
But that's fine. You know what I mean? Like that. Sorry. Okay. I'm getting that we're running an hour for this section. So, okay.
Yes.
But, okay. Sorry. But Renee, I get what you're saying. And like, I think that, you know, if that works for you, that works for you. But like, all I'm saying, sis, is you gonna be stressed.
Oh.
That is all.
Oh, I am. Trust me. I am constantly.
Okay.
All right.
Okay. So we got to end the segment. Okay.
That is it for Minutes of Color. We'll be back with the discuss.
So, welcome back to the discuss.
So recently there was a tweet that has caused a viral sensation on the interwebs. Some guy tweeted that anybody who was like bigger than a size 32 waist should not wear floral prints, and this is created a moment for people who wear over a size 32 to post pictures of themselves wearing floral prints. I think Rakeem is at, 2,700 now likes?
Wow.
On the Twitter.
Don't do that.
It might be 28 now. I looked at that before we recorded.
It's actually 32.
Oh, 32.
Oh, there you go.
You know what that calls for?
She said, actually. Yes, girl. That follower count is climbing, I'm sure.
It actually is. I'm kind of shook. I'm at like 1,500.
Can I ask a question? Is this person...
They're black.
Oh.
Oh, you thought they were white?
He was disappointed.
No,
he was
black.
like ready to drag a white.
Is this person also...
Light skin?
They were light skinned though.
I was going to say straight.
No, they're gay.
No.
Oh.
They're gay. And they can't dress either, so it's just Should we shout them out on the show?
Hell no, because we're not giving them any more traffic.
We're not going to get...
Okay.
Yeah.
But yeah, so I guess because of that, we're going to talk about kind of how we feel about our bodies at the moment and how we're feeling, and go from there. So, John?
I wear a size 36 and I love florals, and I think I look fantastic in florals. So, I don't know who said that, but you can kiss my big Filipino butt.
Yes, Tyra Banks, you can kiss my fat ass. Sorry, but yeah, how are you feeling about your body? And
I think I've had this conversation with y'all privately, and I don't mind sharing it, because I don't know if anyone else can relate. But here I go. I'm kind of in a weird place right now because I think this is like the healthiest I've been in a while, as far as like appreciating my body for what it is. I think I've always compared myself to a lot of cis men and wanted to achieve something that I don't think I ever will, and I'm finally learning to accept that. I'm learning to be happy with that. But also, I feel like the closer I get to being healthier and more fit, the further away I feel like the possibilities of other opportunities I'll get away from, if that makes sense. So, like, I have a regular routine, I'm going to the gym, and I'm like feeling good about my body, but at the same time, I look at female bodies and think, God, like, I wish I could look like that, or I'll never get like that. And sometimes I go into this like transition K-hole, and I look at other people's journeys, and I'm like, like, I don't know if I can do what they're doing, and I don't even know if that is the path for me. I'm in just this weird gender limbo. I don't really know. I'm just kind of right now. I'm just going with it. Because I think I've told you guys before. I've been feeling I would never go to the beach, and I would lie to people and say I hate swimming and I hate the beach, when really I do like the beach. I just don't feel comfortable because certain bodies from what I've experienced are only beach appropriate. We get all these things that are people saying, oh, I'm getting my body summer ready, or my body is not bikini ready. And this is the mentality that everyone thinks, and so it's so ingrained in us. Then I think someone brought up how to achieve a bikini body. And then there's this new meme that's just well, just put a bikini on your body.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm finally learning to accept that. But before it'd be I'm not summer ready. And we all have our personal issues with that. But since I'm speaking for me, I think it's weird because I'm finally learning to be happy with with my okayness and being okay with my okayness. But also I don't know, it just I get a little discouraged because I don't know. Here's an example. I am going to a ball this Sunday. I'm going to a ball for Project Q, and I'm trying on a lot of dresses, and it kind of made me feel weird about my body, even though I felt really good in them, but also my own insecurities and my own I don't know what the word is, but I was telling some of the folks I was with, I wish I was more appropriate for this, or I need a bigger skirt to proportion my body correctly. And they're you can just wear whatever you want. You look great. And I'm so there's a lot of kind of dysmorphia still, but so far I would say I am okay with my okayness. Yeah. But what about y'all?
Well, first, John, thank you for sharing that. For real. I know we've talked about it privately, and I think that it's going to help a lot of people. And a lot of people will relate to it. And thank you for being brave and doing that. So, yeah, we appreciate that, first of all. So, oh, I love you.
We love you, sis.
Oh,
thank you. Yeah, who wants to go next?
Before, not to put pressure on Base, but Base, can you go, since I sort of may have to. Can you go next?
Oh, why me specifically?
Oh, because I thought there was something you were gonna say. Oh no, not this time around. Sorry.
Nope.
Scratch that. Sorry.
Who said that?
Cliffhanger.
I was what?
No.
Sorry, guys. Inside thing. Yeah. I you guys can go. I don't know.
Okay, I guess I can go.
Yeah.
I feel so. I'm the heaviest I've ever been at this point in my life, and I'm actually the happiest I've ever been in my life. And I definitely have insecurities about how my body looks. I was telling John not to fucking photograph me when we record from the bottom.
Oh.
Because angles, sis.
Right, angles.
Yeah.
I get it.
And, some things are just, unflattering. But, I'm insecure about that. And sometimes I'm not going to lie. I think, well, people aren't going to want to date me because of how my stomach looks and that kind of thing. Mm-hmm. But I also have to then check myself and be why do I want to date someone that won't date me because I don't have abs? My stomach is kind of where the biggest has been at this point in my life. My arms are the biggest it's been in their life. My chest is the biggest it's been. My thighs are the biggest they've been. And I'm a beefy, thick guy. And
yes.
And I don't apologize for that. I don't feel bad for that. I'm not going to cater to that. I wear what I want. And I don't feel like I have to appease or cover myself up or water myself down for anyone, which is amazing because I didn't think I would ever feel like this when it came to that. When it came to my body type before. And I know when we first started the podcast, I was super into the gym all the time, and that was probably the most fit I've been, and And now, like, because of a lot of bookings and stuff, like, I'm eating out a lot just because I'm busy. I've been way busier, and I don't have like a regular sleep schedule at the moment, and like I sit down a lot editing, and like even editing the podcast and recording the podcast and all of this stuff, and because of my schedule, I don't get to go to the gym as often as I would like to, and for a while it bothered the fuck out of me, but now it's like I don't know, I feel kind of freed a little bit.
That's good.
Like I really kind of feel like, wow, like I can be a bad bitch without having the body that people associate that with, right? Like and it's like I could still be the shit and not have and like I can sit down and my stomach goes over my belt. Like I can be the shit and I have a rip in my thighs right now, like from my jeans, which happened this morning.
Honestly, that's hot.
Thank you. Like I can like, and you can be the shit in florals, no matter what kind of like size you are. And I retweeted that person because they had said something also like, well, some of y'all are like malicious on purpose. And I was like, sis, but you were malicious on purpose to people who were over 32. And right now I'm at a 34, depending on the brand I'll wear, 36. And yeah, I don't know. I just feel good. I feel like I know what my body likes and what it doesn't like. I know what not to eat and what I do need to eat. I know what exercises like make me really sore. I know what exercises don't do shit. I know what cardio works for me. I know it makes me tired really quickly. I know what alcohol makes me really hungover in the morning. I know like the areas that I have to apply extra lotion to. I know the areas where I don't have to wear lotion. I know depending on what activities I do, whether or not I have to put on deodorant, which I always do. But the point of saying all of that is I've learned so much about my body physically, and I've come to appreciate it so much, and I've learned like the beauty that it kind of holds, and I've learned the like how it's like uniquely kind of like built and designed for you, and I'm learning like what about it is good for you, and like or how you learn about it and that kind of thing. And even seeing myself in photographs, knowing that I'm heavier, like I love it. I really kind of do. I really do. And I can genuinely say I'm at such a good place in my life where I feel happy with, I mean, it does suck because a lot of my clothes are like tighter now because like my chest is bigger, but it's like, that's a good problem now.
Yeah,
so
it's
like,
good problem.
So it's like,
Come on,
I mean,
casual thick.
But also my favorite thrift store just shut down, so I don't know where to shop. But yeah, but yeah, so I'm just.
Can I say something too?
Yeah.
It's also showing in your work.
Oh, thank you.
You're like, I could tell in your work that it's like your cellophane series was so good.
Oh, thank you.
This most recent flower series was really good, and like, it's helping a lot of people, and it helps me, and I'm glad you're doing it.
Thank you. Yeah, I just feel like I only live here once. I only have this body once,
right?
And I'm proud of it. So why not show it off, right? Like,
yes.
Like like, why not? Like, I love what it looks like. Mm-hmm. And if you don't, that's your fault, because it could do some amazing things. So,
right.
So yeah, why not? Like, I feel like no matter what you look like, and I understand that it's hard to sometimes love your body and to get there. Believe me, I get it. Yeah. And I know that for John, like even what you were saying, like it's harder for people with, you know, like kind of trying to figure out like gender identity and that kind of thing. But I can say that I always tell people is what I've learned I've had to teach myself and drill into my head over and over again is even though you might not be where you want to be, I'm learning to love my body on the journey to get to where I want to be. And once I learned to do that, I was like, yeah, like there's nothing you can tell me. Like, what are you gonna call me? Fat? Like, okay, that's not a bad thing. Great, I'm a bad fat bitch, right? Yeah. Like, I'm too skinny. Like, whatever. I'm a bad too skinny bitch. Like, it doesn't it doesn't matter. Insult, you know what I mean? Like, my resume is better than yours. So it doesn't.
She said I'm booked.
And it's like,
and what about it?
And it's,
Ariana Giff, and what about it?
It's like, bitch, I have a belly, but I'll still pull your nigga. So it's just kind of like, it doesn't, I don't mean that to be arrogant. I'm just tired of people shitting on people that are bigger. Mm-hmm. So if that means that I'm gonna sit there and overshare with my body looks like, then bitch, you'll have to deal with it because I have to deal with all your fucking tummy tea posts. So bitch, I'll deal. So that's what it is. It is what it is. Sorry, I'm done.
Okay.
Sorry, I went on like a little rant, but I'm happy.
Rini.
Hi.
He muted. He took out his earphones.
What? I mean, I don't know. I think I have like this weird back and forth thing, or like maybe there's layers, like, and I have layers where days where I feel like, ugh, like I hate my body, or like I hate myself, or whatever. And then, but like I would say like I'm getting better and better at like not having so much negative self-talk. And it's a little, I mean, it's a little weird for me because I was like bigger before. And then like I've, obviously lost a lot of weight. But I still sometimes have like this weird mentality where I see like the person I was before and like still like remember like a lot of things that people would say to me that basically made me think that I was undesirable or that it was a bad thing to be bigger. But now it's just like I'm obviously like kind of a lot slimmer than I was before. And I think it's kind of a weird thing for me because I think of like I have a weird, like, really intense body dysmorphia, and sometimes almost like a gender dysmorphia, and I think that but I also don't think it's as intense for me as like my friends that are a lot bigger, and like. We spoke about Caleb on the show before, and they wrote an article, and they write a lot of articles about like being bigger and then being like bigger to the point where it's not even like still kind of palatable, like where it's just like, okay, like you've gone overboard, like you've passed this one boundary, and now like you're just past the point of like any type of desirability. And so like I obviously benefit from the fact that I'm like thinner. And then I feel like I also benefit from the fact that like it's not like my gender dysmorphia is not as like intense as other people's. So I'm always kind of like struggling. I'm kind of struggling with like where I lie as far as that's concerned. But I think I'm doing this thing where I used to do this thing where I'm just like, I hate myself, or I don't like that my body doesn't fit this, or it doesn't fit that mold, or it's not doing this, or like that I'm not doing this, or that I don't have the money to do this if I wanted to my body, etc. Like all this stuff. But instead of doing that, I'm trying to do, and this is in general for like any kind of like negative self-talk, I'm trying to look at it like, why do I think like that? And like the system was made, and like these societal like beauty norms are made to kind of make us feel like shit about ourselves. It's not me actually feeling like shit about myself. It's like everyone telling me like you should feel like shit about yourself. Do you know what I'm saying? And I think that, yeah, it's just like I get this thing where I sometimes wish that like even just like not even just the body but just like the facial features, I'm just like, if like my facial features weren't so kind of like intense, and I wanted to like, let's say, transition, I would make a prettier girl, or like I would actually be someone who would look like a conventionally good looking girl or something like that. Do you know what I'm saying? Whereas like, and then on the other hand, I'm just like, I'm not even like muscly or big enough or whatever to kind of pass as like what is thought of as like conventional man, which is like supposed to be bigger and like musclier and like, you know, stronger or whatever. And it's just like, I'm in this weird space where I'm just like, I have days where I like look at my friends or like somebody and I'm just like, fuck, I wish I looked like that. And like the whole day I'm just like, damn, like why don't I look like that? And like I'm horrible. Like, and then other days where it's just like, I like some of my girlfriends and I'm like, fuck, like I wish that I could embody that. And like, but yeah, it's just I don't know, it's kind of a complicated thing for me, to be quite honest. But yeah, I think I'm learning again to just kind of be like a little more gentle with myself, like in general, and not like feel like shit about myself when I do. So
wow.
Yeah.
Well, again, thank you for sharing too. I actually had no idea that you even felt like that. So
yeah, I mean, it's not something that I like to share a lot because again, I don't think it's as intense as other people. So I never want to. I want to hold space for other people where it's like really intense, and like for me, it's just like, you know, I don't think it's as intense as it can be. So
yeah, but also know that, like, you know, we love you obviously, and if that's something you want to share with us, that's something that you can always do.
Right.
And also, just because someone feels it more intensely than you doesn't mean that it's not valid for you too.
Right.
So,
Right.
You know, just we love you. That's all.
Sure.
All intensities matter, and I don't mean that in the like jokey way, but like
yeah,
they do.
So yeah.
So I probably won't go into a lot of the gender stuff just because I want to save that for
later
episode, which was almost spoiled earlier, but you know what? We just gonna move on from that. Yeah, it's interesting. Like, I'm in a very interesting and probably unhealthy place with my body. I've probably never been healthier in terms of like eating wise. Like, I've really changed the way that I eat. But I think that like, and I'm not sure if maybe that's unhealthy. I feel better, I guess, about my body. Like, the more toned I get and the more fat that I burn. So I don't know if that's like problematic or not, but but then I'm also like going back and forth. So, it's funny. A friend that I have here in New York City, is very conventionally attractive and is very like conventional in like so many ways in terms of like body fat percentage and like proportions and you know, and face. And I've kind of been like going back and forth between like feeling really great about myself and then like feeling like complete shit about myself. And it's funny because I like we'll be hanging out and like I'll feel certain thoughts like coming up, and I'll think about like a lot of the things that I've made fun of. You know, we've made fun of like those skinny white gays that make jokes about like how like they're thick or something, you know what I mean? And I'll feel that. Like, I'll be in my head, and it's like, it reminds me like, it's why it's always good to not specifically only hang out with one body type, because it can really warp you. And like, because I spend the most of like, if I'm not with Mark, the majority of my time is spent, like, if I'm spent with another person, is spent with this friend. And so it does sometimes like really affect me. Like, I'm like, we'll be hanging out and I'm just like, wow, like I wish my body did this, or I wish my body did that, or I wish it looked like that, or I wish I had like that. And I definitely will look at my body and be like, oh bitch, like, you know, I don't call myself fat, but I'm definitely like, oh bitch, you're getting too big, or like, you need to nip this in the bud. And it's like really crazy because, you know, before we were hanging out, it wasn't something like I really, like, I definitely felt ways about my body, and I was definitely like, oh girl, you need to get it together. But I like, there was just a very healthy way that I was talking about my body to myself in my head. That's just been really interesting. And so like, I find that that's something I've had to really start checking myself more with. And it's actually made me think a lot about like those people that are like that, because it's like, it really can, like, when you do hang out with people that look a certain way, it really can affect the way that you look at yourself. And you can really start to see yourself in a way that you don't actually look like, but like, as far as your eyes are concerned or your mind is concerned, that's really what you look like. And then also, like, there's the problem of even like having an issue with your body looking, you know what I mean, bigger than another person's. Like, so I don't know. I really don't have like a whole emotional story like everybody else, because I'm just really like in a very confusing place with my body. Like, some days I'm like, oh my God, I look amazing. And then some days I'm just like, I'm disgusted with myself.
Oh, no.
And I really don't have like a thing to say about that. I don't know. I don't know what's healthy and what isn't. I think that's probably the most confusing part, is like knowing like what is healthy. Like, you know what I mean? Like, I go to the gym, but like, is that like, is the pursuit of like aesthetic, is that a problem? And then like, you know, if I don't pursue it, then is that a problem? So I'm like more or less it depends on the day. I really can't, like, there's no one way that I feel about my body. It just really would depend on the day.
That's valid too.
So, yeah, that's all I have to say.
All right, so with that, we will, are there any last comments?
Not for me.
Okay, so with that, we will end it, and then we'll do Male of Color really quickly.
Oh, right. I just do want to say really quick. I just want to like thank everyone for sharing their stories. I couldn't hear you guys for a minute, or y'all in general for a minute. So but yeah, I just appreciate y'all being vulnerable. So
thank you. You too.
Thank you, sis. Of course, the same to you.
All right, love y'all.
Okay. Wait, we're not like saying bye.
No, I'm just saying bum 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 for the recording. Yeah, okay.
Hey everybody. So again, we are just gonna be, well, I actually don't know, I don't remember what you guys did last week, but how many of you guys did last week, but this week
just
we're only
one.
gonna do one letter, because you know, we talk and we talk. So we've from Barry, they say, hey, congrats to y'all for making it this far. The show is a real gem, and without exaggeration, it's become an important source of support in this phase of my life. Thank you, Barry.
Thank you.
You're too kind. You're just too kind. Okay, so my question. If you could trade places with a specific person at a specific moment in time, who, when, what would it be? And of course, why? The moment could be historically important or not. Same with the person. Cheers to y'all. Hoping for 50 more. All the best. Barry.
Thank you. I already know my answer to this,
okay,
so I'm just
off.
gonna. Sorry, mine is such a historic moment in history, in modern history. So I would trade places with Beyonce right on December 13th, 2013, maybe 5 minutes before she clicked the go button, just because I would love to experience what that was like. Like, the 5 minutes before she decided, I'm going to change the game forever, and none of you bitches can do anything about it. I would have loved to know what that feels like. And then also the morning after, when she was reading the reviews for the first time, thought that would have been an amazing thing to experience. But yeah.
I would be Lisa Bonet at the moment that she conceived her first child with Jason Momoa.
I cannot.
I just want to feel his seed inside of me, and
not seed.
I want to feel it implant and become something known as life. I want to know what that feels like.
Wow.
Any questions, comments, concerns?
No, we're just shocked. Renee?
I would switch places with the clone of Prince in the future when he topples capitalism. So I would that's what I would do. That's what I'm switching places.
Glamorously?
Yeah, exactly.
I would also be Azealia Banks right before she made her Twitter and not do it.
Wow. All right. So, I mean, do we have any like last minute announcements, or do we want to thank anybody? Rakeem?
I do actually.
Go ahead, go off, sis.
Sorry. I just want to say I wanted to say thank you to Loverboy Magazine. I just did an interview with them entitled Make America Fabulous Again with my friend. And I put it on the Instagram so you can go see it there. But yeah, so we talked about like Kanye and Trump and the state of America, and we did a really nice photo shoot that's inspired by Janelle Monáe's song Americans. And so yeah, I'm really excited about that. And there's some other stuff, but I can't talk about it yet, so we'll have to wait till that comes out. Also, oh my god, we need to talk about, before I forget, let me just put it up in my email, because Out Webfest is happening. So Out Webfest is okay, so pretty much it is a event where you can go celebrate independent LGBTQ digital storytelling, hear and interact with industry experts and digital celebrities such as Max Emerson, RuPaul's Drag Race Aquario and Aja will be there. Also, there's going to be a series premiere of Ryan Murphy's series Pose. So we will be there. Well, at least I think John and I will be there on Friday. And it goes Friday through Sunday. So if you are able to go, let us know, and we'll see you there. So I'm excited to go. It's like our first premiere, so I'm like very excited about this. So I have to like go find things. John and I might be in matching ball gowns, so we'll see.
Okay. I just want to thank PenguinCon. I really appreciated them having me out as a special guest. They treated a nigga right. Mostly they treated me right because Mark was guest of honor. So, but I was really planning on eating very healthy that weekend, and they were like, "So, about all of your food, so we're paying for all that," and all of my healthy eating plans went out of the window. They had a car pick us up, and I just I'm already used to that. Like now, like I can't go to the airport unless the car picks me up at this point. Okay, but
girl.
Look, listen, I'm about to be mad as hell when I have to get on the A train to go to JFK so I can fly out there in a couple weeks. But yeah, so I just really appreciated it. I really appreciated the opportunities to be on the opportunity to be on the panels. I really appreciated the listener that came up to me after the podcasting panel. I really, honestly, I said, thank you guys. I asked you guys to come, but I didn't really think anybody would actually show up. So it was really cool that someone did. And that's pretty much it.
Yeah.
All right. So, one other thing I forgot to mention, sorry. So for Outfest, when you're getting your tickets, be sure to enter. Father God, where's my mind? Not enter. To enter. Same thing. Code OWFBL. And once you do that, it will actually help us with some really great things. Really great things. So again, that is code OWFBL. I will actually put a link in the description. And you can click on it straight from the episode. It'll be linked and everything like that. So that way, you don't have to worry about anything. Tickets are on sale. And yeah, I hope to see you all there. And we can have some discussions that we talk about on the show. And I'll be excited to meet y'all. I wish that Baze and Renee could be here.
I'm gonna try to come. I'll try to come
by Friday.
Yeah.
Okay.
We'll see.
Oh, okay. So, with that, I guess we, again, be sure to subscribe and rate the show on iTunes. You can find us at Twitter on Trashacolor and everywhere else at Podcastacolor. And, with that, I guess we'll see y'all next week.
All right.
This podcast is executively produced by Aaliyah J. Daniels, LaShawn McGee, Damian Pelliccioni, Christopher Rodriguez, John Kagandahan, Hakeem Cunningham, Baze White, and Renee Hernandez.